Hello, my name is James Shirley, and I'm here to tell you about how AT&Thieves ripped me off big time. I invite you to go to the website AT&Thieves.com, please, and you can read the full story there, and you can leave any stories you have about how yourself or friends or people you know might have been ripped off by AT&T. You can also send me an email at that address. So here's what happened. In spring 2012, my father was visiting Italy for a short time, and I need to call him once or twice. I knew it could be expensive, so I called the AT&T representative and spoke with her for 15 minutes, begging her for any information about rates and charges I could get. Repeatedly, she said, "We cannot tell you what the rate for the call will be or what the cost for anything will be until the call is made and charged and billed." We went over this 5 times. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I had a contract with AT&T at the time, a landline contract, so it was my company, and they're telling me they can't tell me anything about what it's going to cost me to make this call. I finally said, "How can I have any idea what the cost is going to be for this call?" And she said, "Well, Mr. Shirley, we do have an international plan." "Oh, okay. How much does that cost? What are the rates per minute for that?" "We can't tell you that, Mr. Shirley, until the call is made and the charges are billed." I said, "What if I made the call right now at this time of day?" Assuming that was the issue that was a variable. "No, Mr. Shirley, we can't tell you anything about the charges or rates for the call until you make the call and the charges are billed." So I made one short phone call to my father in Italy. Waited a few days because I figured it had to process. Called back, asked, "What was the cost for that call? Can you please tell me? I made a short call the other day to Italy. It should show up on my record. Well, could you tell me what the charge was for that?" No, we can't tell you. I can't see that, Mr. Shirley, the representative said. "I have no way of telling you what that call you made 3 days ago was charged at. You have to wait till the end of the monthly billing cycle." And the calls are charged and billed, etc., etc., etc. So I made another call a day or two later. Then a couple of days later, my phone was turned off. Call AT&T from work. They said my bill was totally paid up at the time. Call them from work, and they said, "Yes, you went over your monthly credit limit because those 2 calls you made for 90 minutes, those cost $360. $360 for 90 minutes of a phone call to Italy. Not Mars, Italy." I asked to speak to her supervisor in billing about getting it changed. Immediately, all the information I'd asked for in all that long, tedious conversation with 2 representatives, he said in one breath. He said, "Oh, Mr. Shirley, my gosh." He said, that's $4 a minute, 90 minutes for $360. He said, "I didn't even know we had rates that high." And he said, "Did you know that if you had our international plan for $5 a month, the call would have only cost 10 cents a minute? And you could cancel that international plan after 1 month. So the whole cost for those 2 calls would have been $5 for the international plan, 10 cents a minute times 90 minutes, that's $9 plus $5, $14, instead of $360. All because no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get some basic information from 2 AT&T representatives. But then the magic 3rd representative, who was a little higher up, he had all the information. And he told me immediately, "Mr. Shirley, this is just crazy. If you sign up for the international plan now, I'm sure you can ask billing to bill you to readjust retroactively to the charges with you now having the international plan." I did it immediately. 12 phone calls later, endless hours, on and on and on. Each representative said the same thing. "I'm sure they're going to make the adjustment, Mr. Shirley. It's common sense. We've done this. We do this all the time." But no, each time I ended up with a supervisor's voicemail, and the call was never returned. And now AT&T is taking me to court over this money, which with bills and fines has gone. The 360 has gone to 450 with penalties and stuff like that. And I'll keep you up to date on my court case. The date hasn't been set yet. But if you go to AT&Thieves.com, like I said, you'll get a fuller story here, and I'll keep you up to date on my court date and what's going on with it. And please, I want you to consider leaving your messages in the comments section or calling or writing me by the email address that's there, because AT&T is ripping people off, and it's just not right. Thank you very much. AT&Thieves.com.